welcome. I'm Mrs. B, and I wanted to talk to you about some really old math books that you'll have to Google or do a search to try to find them. They're out of print, and I've given my copies away, but I saved some parts of some of them to use for teaching your children arithmetic in a way that's not a workbook and will be of benefit to your children, I think, because it's simple and it's quick, and spend about 20 minutes per session with your child, a young child. Don't go any long hours, and please don't give them those little workbook pages where they have to, their little hands try to write the numbers and erase all over the page, and the little things where there's 4 little ducks and how many ducks are there. There's much better ways to do that. So William J. Milne, M-I-L-N-E, if you find any of his books, American Book Company was the publisher of some of them, and he did a series of arithmetic books. Later, Abeka published some of the Milne arithmetic books, and they're 1930s versions. This book, called A Mental Arithmetic, was actually copyrighted in 1897, so really kind of old. I'll just give you some examples of what this book is, and you will be amazed that children, these were young children that would do this. Remember, this covers addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions, denominant numbers. Probably most of you don't even know what denominant means. Percentage, and some miscellaneous problems. So I'm going to read just a few of them, and maybe you'll be challenged yourself. I know I was, but I used this with Daniel, and I think it really helped him. Here it starts off kind of simple, but you can read this out loud to your child if they can't read yet. And then they don't use a paper and pencil. They don't use a computer. They do it in their head. A boy has 2 cents in one pocket and 1 cent in another pocket. How many cents has he? One reason I like using this is you have to think about what the problem says, the meaning of the words, and also they use correct English, which most of us don't. So the child will answer 3. He has 3 cents. You can have an answer in a complete sentence if you want. I see 2 birds on a fence and 2 birds on the ground. How many birds do I see? Okay. That was pretty easy too. A boy ate 2 apples and had 3 apples left. How many had he at first? Well, I might struggle with that one. I don't know. But that's goes on like that. Let's look at some of the subtraction problems. Again, remember, these are for young children. And how we express subtraction. Take 29 from 47. No paper, just doing it in your head. How much is 93 less 65? Subtract 62 from 100. Those are all different ways of saying the same idea, of trying to teach what subtraction is. What is the difference between 28 and 20? Okay. And how about, what do they do for addition? What is the sum of 6 and 5 and 9? How many are 9 and 11 and 8? Okay. And here's one where they kind of give you a little help. What is the sum of 46 and 37? Solution. The sum of 46 and 37 is equal to the sum of 46 and 30 and 7. First they add 46 and 30, they get 76, and they add 76 and 7, they get 83. Therefore, the sum of 46 and 37 is 83. So, here's another one. These are kind of like what we used to call word problems or story problems. A young man entered the Navy when he was 19 years old. That was 23 years ago. How old is he now? A merchant deposited in a bank $25 more on Tuesday than on Monday. If Monday's deposit was $65, what was the amount of both deposits? Okay. Let's look at a couple of division ones. A bought a horse for $100 and sold it to B for $150. Later he bought it back for $125 and sold it again so as to gain $40 on the entire transaction. What was the last selling price of the horse? A couple of, we're going to use some old-fashioned measurements here. What part of a year is 3 months, 24 days? 1 month, 10 days, 5 months, 10 days. Those are fractions, denominator numbers. So you have to figure that out. If it costs $72 to excavate a cellar 6 yards square at $1 a cubic yard, how deep is the cellar? I paid $1.60 per bushel for peanuts and sold them at 5 cents or 1/2 pint. How much did I gain on each peck? Oh, we don't use pecks and pints. We'll use pints. Pecks and bushels. So you'll have fun learning these old expressions. Remember, this was in 1897, and children could do these problems in 1897. Percentage. A collector whose commission was 5% paid in, after deducting his commission, $38,000. How much was his commission? Suggestion. He paid in only 95% of the amount collected. So for the little man that wants to be an accountant someday, maybe that's the kind of problem you want to do. How many flagstones, each 4 feet long and 2 feet wide, will be needed to lay a crossing 120 feet long and 6 feet wide? Well, that's a pretty good problem. So as you're working through these kinds of problems, look for problems that you might be doing things in the kitchen, measuring things, or if you're a man, you have a son and you get ready to do a home project with these type of measuring, counting. Use that first, and then go to these problems. Again, this helps the child's development of his mental ability to not only think in terms of mathematics, but to reason and to put material together in your mind so that you can come up with good conclusions, logical conclusions, and it helps to complete the development of your brain's ability to think, to reason, to articulate, to express things verbally. That's why I like mental arithmetic. Thank you. Hope you find the resource.